The War on Terror 2.0 is here. Wow. I have tried to make this video like 3 times now, but more and more and more information keeps coming out. And look, I don't know. I don't know if this could be like really labeled as a proper terror attack. But guaranteed, the way that it's being spun is as if it's this huge, big fucking 9/11 2.0 thing. We gotta really hammer home the war on terror and Muslims and all this other shit, right? You can already see that that's what's happening. But then again, that's just neoliberalism, right? That is how the apparatus and the system we are currently in operates, right? I was seeing it all over Twitter. Like before it came out that this guy was Muslim, people were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I hate to hear about this, right?" And like then if you like look at the trends that this happens like every year, a fucking ramming happens and people were like weren't blaming it on that. Um and again, before that happens, I was reading through some of the articles before it was like determined that this guy, like who this guy's identity was and everything around it. People weren't associating it with the fact that it was just another part of a big unfortunate trend, right? And that really pisses me off because like, dude, they even on the fucking Wikipedia page, the place where most people are going to go by this, like it talks about how federal agents were like they were talking to like police and like local law enforcement. They were like, "Hey, there's probably going to be a ramming because there's a ramming like every year. So maybe you should like put up the proper precautions to like prevent that." And like they didn't, or like not good enough, and then it happened, and now they're like, what the fuck, right? And so it's it's fucking it's tragic, but it's also fucking hilarious that only now it's like now it's a big deal, right? Like you could tell that halfway through the day before information came out about it, people were like, okay, yeah, let's like kind of slow down about it. Oh, he was a Muslim. Immediate top of the media circus, right? Oh fuck, he made videos talking about ISIS. Oh shit. Oh shit, we're so back. Oh, we're so back, right? I could just tell the people like typing out like the conservatives, right? The alt right, the fucking Nazis, and then the liberals, and like all these people were like, oh yeah, fuck, oh yeah, oh fuck, just make my dick wet, right? Just like talking about how this guy who was in the American military for over 10 years was probably disillusioned by the system and other things along those lines. And while he had converted to Islam prior to that, like was is one of the reasons of why he did this in the first place. It was due to alienation, and perhaps somehow maybe, um, like he had been picked up by some extremists. That is possible. It extremist Islamic tendencies is a real thing, right? There are people of like liberal tendencies. I am not a liberal. Who will try and dismiss extremist Islamic ideas, and be like, "Oh, that's just racism." Or other things like that, but like you can look at Turkey, right? Of how people in China will migrate away from China and into Turkey and become like extremely extremist, right? And that's just like an acknowledgement of the material conditions of our world, right? Of acknowledging that these things exist. And a lot of times that is not out of a hatred or anything along those lines. A lot of times that is manipulation, much like how any extremist religion is used, by plenty of people, in plenty of organizations, right? You see it all the time. You fuck. Perfect example, the KKK, right? That is a Christo nationalist organization, right? They are fundamentally Christian organization. There are different sects of it who believe that, who are more atheistic but and more nationalistic than anything. Um, but they are like like religious extremist, and they use that to get more people into their fold by using the faith that these other people have and then corrupting it. I'm still a bit on the fence of outright labeling it as a terror attack, because even if it is, like, let's say right now that it is a terror attack, I don't want to be solid in saying that, because of the fact that that could just end up like a lot of the people that are saying that it's a terror attack are doing so to then blame other Muslims, right? Islam is one of the biggest religions in the world, right? But not like half the world's population is dead, right? More people die because of Christians every year than Islam. So of course, and again, I mean, if we want to like take up like name fallacy or whatever the fuck, right? It's called the religion of peace for a reason, right? Many of their teachings is about peace and about personal humility and humbleness of being like having like civility with oneself and other things along those lines. Now I have not fully like read the book, but I've watched plenty of videos in the past explaining it and like talking about it, and that also went into the war on terror and other things like that. So I do have a little bit of knowledge on it, and do inform me down below. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't want to just outwardly say that this was a terror attack, because people are going to be using that as a buzzword to then try and attack other innocent Muslim people, right? Like, that already is being happened every day by people who are like supporting Palestine, right? And that is already being used by people who support Syria, right? Or the mass amounts of violence that happens against Arabs. And it is disproportional. But now that a Muslim man came out and might have just committed a terror attack, with all of the signs potentially pointing towards yes, now that's just going to be used instead of saying we need to deal with like actual like material conditions that cause this stuff to happen in the first place, and not allow this and allow proper teaching of proper Islam like ideas. Inshallah, right? Like I hope I use that word. I hope I use that word right. But now it's going to be used, much as neoliberal society and its reactionary tendencies, to now turn to violence against that, right? People are going to be like even on Twitter, I saw things like, you never see anyone with this phenotype saying this and this, or like doing this and this, despite the fact that like all the white men at the Super Bowl that end up getting mad of shit and then causing a shooting to happen, or all the people driving through fucking black neighborhoods and like running over black people or brown people or fucking like Asians, Latinos, and all sorts of other stuff, right? Like, it is it's so fucking absurd the way that these people just do not have an awareness for the material conditions around them, and like the historic like ideas that lead up to these in the first place. It is genuinely just so fucking astounding. But yeah, overall, I think that this was just as fucking. It's tragic that it happened, right? Like, it really, really is. But the people that are causing a shitstorm about this were not causing the same shitstorm whenever Luigi came out and did this, right? They were like praising it and all sorts of other stuff. Oh, but they were also condemning him too. So there's that ideological split too, because fascism eats at itself and has its own mini sects. And then there was also the whole idea that whenever like a white person does it, they're silent about it. Hell, they'll probably fucking support it, right? Because of the hegemony around it, that is like, this is the good one, this is the bad one. But then there's also the deeper nuance of the fact that you have to play by the rules within neoliberal society, and anyone who doesn't play by those rules and allowing the state to do violence, and you must be a part of the state to do violence, and you can't do it by yourself unless you align very close with the ideals of the society around you, aka Nazis and the KKK. that you do end up kind of being put on the shit list anyway. So yeah, that those are all my thoughts on it. Do let me know what you think down below. Let's start a conversation. I will have an eye out down there because people, thankfully, in the past few weeks, my videos have been going more and more into a better direction. But plenty of people are still down there spewing slurs and all sorts of other shit. But lucky for me, I get to laugh at it and then delete your comment because it never makes it through the filters. And two, it allows for proper conversations to happen down below. If you want to support me, I have a Patreon down below. Other than that, I'll see you guys next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye bye.